Hi everyone, this is Mindy Duncan. Thank you for joining us and welcome to our PDW, Broadening Our Sight, Seeing Change Differently Through Psychoanalysis. Broadening our sight involves seeing beyond the surface and digging deep into the motivations driving organizational routines. This requires a perspective that focuses our attention on the space within and between people in an organization so that we can better understand the relational processes that sustain ineffective organizational routines and fuel unconscious resistance to change. Psychoanalysis offers concepts that uniquely enable organizational scholars and practitioners to attend to these processes. This PDW consists of 4 video presentations, including this introduction. You'll want to listen to them in sequence. The PowerPoint slides and a reference list are available for download. After you've listened to this introduction, please listen to the other 3 videos and then post your comments or questions on the PDW discussion forum. Responses to your questions and comments will be posted on our blog in early September. We see psychoanalysis as a promising framework for studying and facilitating organizational change. In particular, psychoanalysis is a means for interpreting workplace subjectivity. How we can do that is illustrated throughout the panel presentations. The aim of this PDW is to explore a range of psychoanalytically informed approaches to assessing organizational problems, initiating and managing change, and supporting ethical change processes. The psychoanalytic approach to organizational analysis and change emphasizes experience and meaning for both organizational members and the consultant or researcher. In particular, the consultant researcher observes and interprets their own experiences, in addition to observing patterns of defensive interactions between people in the organization. Psychoanalysis offers scholars and practitioners of organizational change concepts that aid in understanding the deeper meaning of what is happening in the here and now, and thus the best ways to intervene in the dilemmas presented by defensive resistance. It's also worth mentioning that a psychoanalytic approach to organizational assessment, diagnosis, and consultation positions the consultant or researcher as the primary instrument of data collection. This means that if you are leading or facilitating change, acknowledging and reflecting on your own experiences is a critical part of data collection and analysis, requiring a higher level of self and other awareness. Psychoanalytic approaches to organizations are unique in their attention to the irrational, hard to explain, and often taken for granted or unconscious aspects of organizational life. Their view of human behavior as rooted in unconscious motivations that are shaped by our personal and interpersonal histories. We bring these histories to work with us via transference dynamics. And finally, in their specific attention to the psychological defenses evoked by the anxiety that people experience in the doing of work and in relationships at work. Psychological defenses shape interactions between people at work in very specific ways. This array of psychological defenses interlink people in the organization, creating the intersubjective structure of the organizational culture. Unconscious psychological defenses such as denial, splitting, and projection contribute to many of the problems we see in organizational groups, including resistance to change. Denial reduces anxiety, like that created by change, by pushing some aspects of reality out of conscious awareness. Denial creates a pain point that many change agents encounter. Executives and stakeholders refusing to acknowledge that there's even a need for change. Splitting involves unconsciously splitting our experiences, other people, and ourselves into either good or bad parts. This reduces the anxiety that arises from synthesizing these differences. So, for example, acknowledging that a thing, a person, or an event is both good and bad. So in the workplace, common good-bad splits would include competent, incompetent, smart, dumb, capable, and incapable. Splitting creates pain points in the change process when it comes to trying to foster collaboration between stakeholders, framing of solutions, and implementing the change that's been planned. Projection is an unconscious psychological defense against anxiety that involves attributing one's own feelings, desires, impulses, or self-images to someone or something else. This defense reduces anxiety by getting rid of unwanted feelings. Projection creates pain points in the change process because it disconnects people from their feelings about the change, contributes to a lack of taking personal responsibility for both problems and solutions, and because of this, it can inhibit learning. So you'll hear concepts such as denial, splitting, and projection, along with transference, come up in the panel presentations. Our panel today includes the research associates of the Center for Psychosocial Organization Studies. You can learn more about our group at surfacingtheorganization.com. So just let me introduce each of the associates and the papers that we will be talking about, or the ideas that we'll be talking about. So I and Sarah Elias will present our reflexive field note writing method, which was inspired by the work of psychoanalysts such as Wilfred Bion, Thomas Ogden, and Jessica Benjamin. Nathan Gerard will discuss creativity in the context of COVID-19. Specifically, he juxtaposes the work of Melanie Klein and Donald Winnicott in thinking about the enactment of the creative self in response to difficult situations like those created by COVID-19. And then finally, Seth Alcorn, who is himself a prominent writer in the area of organizational psychodynamics, will talk to us about how he applied his knowledge of object relations theory to develop a historical perspective on current resistance to change. We'd love to hear from you, so please post your questions, comments, and reactions in the PDW discussion forum. Our responses to your questions and comments will be posted on our blog at surfacingtheorganization.com in early September. You can visit the site now to sign up to follow our posts so that you'll be notified when our responses are available.